I want to talk to you today about how to solve the lack of structure in many people's lives. You might be one of these people who are continuously suffering in your life because of the asymmetries that we are all experiencing. For instance, things are getting more and more expensive. There is inflation. Our healthcare becomes more and more expensive, and also the proper kind of help doesn't seem to be very available. Even in the alternative medicine scene, you see that prices are rising and that it becomes more and more difficult to find proper healing. And the reason for this, of course, is that we all know that medicine wants to be commercially viable and therefore wants to make sure that it stays in business. It's like the police. The police can't resolve crime because otherwise nobody would need the police. So what medicine wants is it wants to get you into a program. Ironically, I'm going to get you into a program too if you listen to me. But this program is going to take you only 1 year, and after that you never will need me again if you don't want to. The thing is, our health is our biggest asymmetry in life. When we are born born with a particular kind of physiology, and maybe we are healthy, maybe we are not healthy, maybe we experience ourselves as healthy, but in our aging process we start noticing things are off, and that off decomposes the structure of our life. Our body is not in the right position, it is not holding itself up, it is not staying viable, and it is not necessarily feeling good too. We are maybe continuously hungry, or food doesn't really taste us anymore. Especially when you grow older, this is going to be very important. But when you are young, you already start noticing like, oh, my desires and my needs and my need for feeling comfortable and safe is not being satisfied. And this is because of factors that you think you cannot control. And I am going to tell you, yes, you can control many of these factors. No, you cannot control all the factors, but there are 3 controls that you can build into your life so that you can structure yourself in the proper way. One of them is proper eating. For this there are particular kind of principles and rules, and these are not as difficult as you think, because it is just a matter of listening to your body while you're eating, and this program is going to help you achieve that. The second one is you have to make sure your mind stays alert and active, and therefore also you are preventing degenerative problems of your mind when you grow older. I'm not talking about forgetfulness, because if you're very smart, you know you also forget particular kind of things because you're allocating your brain to the things that you think are important. Stupidity doesn't really exist. The third one is how to maintain the agility of your body. Some people seem to be born stiff, and some seem to be born with all the benefits of having a sporty body and so on, but that is not actually true. It is actually true that everybody with a minimum effort can have a very agile body, and as a result of that can enjoy the pleasure of free circulation in your body, and therefore prevent all kind of age-related diseases which are the result of a bad motoric system or bad sensitivity of your body. So that means that not moving properly and not eating properly and not being aware properly actually reduces your pleasure in life, and also reduces therefore the structure in your life that you try to implant in your life to make sure that you feel safe and comfortable. At the moment when you can do this, then at that moment automatically you will have a control that other people will not have, and as a result of that you will reduce your cost of living, because you need to eat less, you need to go less to the doctor. Like for instance, last time I went to the doctor is more than 25 years ago, and you are going to be more acutely alert of things going wrong. This is the basics of what everybody needs. I did a PhD study on that, and my name is Rene. I am already for 50 years, plus a bit, involved in studying health through Chinese medicine, because I was myself born very sick, and as a result of my practices and my studies I gradually became more healthy, and I was supposed to die at about 40, 45, and now I'm over 60, clearly. I have disadvantages, but in general, I am more healthy and more vital than most people that I know. I know there's a lot of people, young people especially, who show all kinds of things you should do to stay healthy and so on. But I talk from my experience, and not just from my PhD, but also from teaching Chinese medicine, Kung Fu, traveling all over the world, talking with people from tribal nations, from Native America and from Australia. All these kind of people, they all have their own relative solutions, but you see that they are not really very systematic. And what I have done is I have put a lot of things into a sort of a system, and I'm going to beta test this program right now. Originally this program is 13 parts, but I have taken 3 parts which are the most essential part, and you need it under all circumstances, whether you're worried about the future of the world, whether you're worried about getting poor, or whether you're worried about your health and your disease and your aging, or the diminishment of the pleasure in your life. These kind of things you need. And at the moment when you are able to practice these things, then at that moment you will be able to age well and enjoy yourself. Just imagine yourself, you're 80 years old. How do you see 80-year-old people? Usually 80-year-old people are, maybe already a little bit weak, but certainly on the edge of getting weaker. Whether you're a man or a woman or both or none of them, it doesn't really matter what gender you are. At the moment when you are turning over 80, your body has been decaying over time, and you need tools to restore yourself, and you also need tools to improve yourself. And most practices for people over 80 are going to be practices just to keep you at the lesson, but not really to improve you. I have enough experience through my work with revalidation to understand that most things that people get to do when they are even over 60 or 70 are basically starting from the point that there is no more future, and therefore it is just a matter of, in Dutch we say pap en een nat houden. At the moment when you translate it into English, means basically just try to hang on. At the moment when you're young, you don't really think about that. You just think about your pleasure, about going to club and going to gym and whatever, all kind of things. The things that people usually say to you, like in Disney, you need to do because this is what is going to keep you healthy. And then you find out by the time you're 35 or you're 40 that your sexual drive is becoming reduced, or that you don't really care about a lot of things, that you feel tired all the time, you're stressed very easily. And as a result of that, you are going to come to a realization by the time you're 40 that you're actually aging, and you start noticing in your face you're not anymore 18. Yes, because we all think for a long time we never pass 18 or 20 or 22 years old, and as a result of that we are able to enjoy ourselves, and then at that moment some kind of regret starts building into our life, and by the time we are old we are becoming maybe bitter and full of resentment, and this is the opposite of what we want, because when we're young we all hope and we wish for a bright future, and this is actually where this program wants to help you with. Yes, this program is based on the idea that everybody needs a basic health care to cover basic health, and also to help you save yourself in times of crisis, but it is also at the same time contributing for healthy people into more health and more control over their health, especially when they grow older. One of the things that I noticed over my life, and I think most people do also, especially when they like their own comforts and they like their own ability to enjoy life as a result of things, that the enjoyment that people are learning usually is expensive. The drinks are expensive, the restaurant is expensive, the club is expensive, the food from the supermarket is expensive, and the quality is being reduced year after year after year after year. Then if your medical issues also become an issue, then at that moment you need something that is clearly out of the box compared to what you normally get offered. And this is where this becomes very interesting, because at the moment when you learn to properly eat, you don't need to count calories, you don't need to think about your price of food. You can find food everywhere, and this is one of the things that you have to learn to be able to understand and to appreciate the power that you have over your life and how you can structure your life under all circumstances. That doesn't mean that you have to go out foraging in the forest to go get your food, but you know that there's a lot more available, and then you can, as a result of what you learn, you can select better quality food without having to go to a biological shop necessarily, because that is also expensive. The irony is that biological farming is much cheaper than chemical farming, because chemical farming needs a lot of subsidizements to produce the same amount of food, and biological food is much less, but it is taxed higher, and also people charge more because it's more like an elite thing. And you might belong to an elite, but you might also not belong to an elite, and that means that your income is not suitable for that kind of living necessarily. So this is one of the reasons why we also created this program, because the upward spiral of things becoming more expensive has to be broken through, and only you and people like you and me and other people like me, we can do this together. And this is why we built this Douweland Healthcare program, and I would like you to join in that program as a result of that. So what we want to do is we want to make sure that life becomes cheaper, but also better managed. At the moment when you learn how to properly meditate, spend time on paying attention how your senses work. It's not a matter of just sitting, meditating or breathing or something, but it is a matter of realizing that your awareness is something that is being trained, and that the things that you watch on the TV, on your social media, and so forth, they are things that train you and also create expectations, because your mind is not just your mind, but it is a reactive organ, and it is dealing with a lot of things that come to it. And they will also limit, therefore, the capacity of your sense organs to listen to things that are outside of that scope. So you're training yourself. It's your brain, your mind is like an algorithm, just like Facebook or YouTube or anything like that. And it is continuously selecting. The place where you actually think is here. The place where you actually think is here. The place where you actually think is here. The way how you feel towards your life and how you enjoy your life as a result of that. When I was living in a Taoist monastery, some of the older Taoists, they emphasized that structuring life is very important, because at that moment you can build securities in yourself. Also, structuring life helps you to open up your heart and therefore understand the things better from, an emotional perspective, but also a moral perspective, without getting out of bounds with your emotions, so that you can stay calm and happy and contented. So what we want to do with this program is to help you reduce the friction in your life. And at the moment when we reduce the friction in your life, then at that moment you overcome the ridiculous development of society as a whole. Because society tries to put friction on you, because then you are in a panic, and as a result of that you are willing to buy off all kind of worries. So this is what we try to reduce. I have built this program, as I said before, and I would like you to sign up for that. The introduction is a beta version. I would expect you to sign up, and you make a choice. Either you want to pay at once or you want to pay over 12 months. It's only 12 months. I'm going to test you in this program. In that program, I'm going to explain to you that the reality of this course is separated in different kind of groups, and you're going to be randomly selected for each group, and at the end, after 9 months, you're going to get all the different kind of programs, so you have full access to everything, and you can maintain your access later on also, so you can always look back and sort it out. You can also stay in the program and continue with studying, maybe make it into your career because you realize like, wow, this is amazing, and you contribute at the same time to your own well-being and that well-being of your environment, because of course if you feel good, your environment will feel much better about itself too, because they don't need to worry about you. So in the comments below you can find the link to the program, and I would like you to just go have a look, and then you have to decide, because going to have a look is just about the whole program, and it talks about all different kind of aspects of the reality that we are stepping into at the moment when we enter that program, and why I am motivated also through the book that I wrote just this year, published, for developing a proper renewal of healthcare that is affordable, makes life more pleasant, and also brings us further into life to a higher age with full vitality.